Hello there everyone and welcome to another DML live stream. So I don't know how you guys have been over the last 4 to 5 days. I just got a little bit busy doing other stuff and that, but I hope it wasn't too much of a wait between today's live stream at least. I did plan on doing one like every day, but you know, at the end of the day it's just not really practical in a lot of situations. I would if I could, for sure. It's just, you know, when you have anything else to do in the day, it's very time consuming. But the gist for today is not a whole lot per se. We are just gonna be, you know, chilling as we normally do and, you know, just having fun. But for the most part, let's breed out some names. So we've got Max, Piscaru, Koku HD, Crystal, Galaxy, S. Muhammad, Drink Bleach, OMG I'm a Bunny, John McDonough, Kate Hudson, Gamer Girl, Amir, Jess's Welton, Beastie Bacon, so far. So, what should be episode 600 exactly? That is my question. That is my question exactly. I have no idea. Because realistically, it could be anything. I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff we still haven't done in DML. And Emika, hello! Thank you for saying hello to me. And Taufik, I am okay today, just, you know, just woken up not too long ago like I normally do. I pretty much just wake up and then start live streaming, just to, you know, get the day started, make sure I'm actually awake sort of thing. What are the Hades' awakened elements? I said it in the video about him that I uploaded. They are Shadow and Earth, so exactly the same as the Skeleton, except the Skeleton is worse because he has Legendary instead of Divine. A special where I visit some players. We've done that before, not very interesting to be honest. How do people breed an elemental? I've already shown you how to breed an elemental dragon 6 times to Feek, and I'm not going to show you again. It should be a review of your whole island and all of your dragons. I don't know. What are my 3 best dragons? My Autumn, my Comet, and my Lantern. Is there a new element, yes or no? You know, if you're asking that question, you must have missed out on quite a lot, because have you seen the whole Divine element events? Like, literally for the last 2 weeks, it has just been Divine, Divine Dragon, Divine Dragons after Divine Dragons. So yes, there is most definitely a new element, I suppose. How many Divine enchantment materials do I have now? Not as many as I need, which I don't think I will ever have the amount that I need, but I got quite a lot of fire, quite a lot of wind, quite a lot of earth, a ton of water, a lot of metal, a lot of plant, no energy, unsurprisingly, a butt ton of void, not enough shadow, a ton of light, never enough legendary, and not enough divine. So there you go. You can upgrade and enchant your skeleton dragon. Why would you want to upgrade and enchant my skeleton dragon when I have the Hades? Like, that makes no sense. Why would I choose a just outright worse dragon to level up when I could just level up this one? That doesn't make a whole deal of sense. Doesn't make that much sense to me at the very least. But without further ado, we should probably go ahead and do some of our enchantment fights, you know. Get the enchantment fights out of the way so then we can go and do other stuff a little bit later on. You got the Autumn, but you sold it by accident. If it wasn't long ago since you sold it, if you ever sell a special dragon like that, you can get in touch with Game Lost support, and they can restore your account and give you back the dragon that you sold. But at the end of the day, you know, that is a pretty dumb mistake to make. I have never made that mistake myself. But, be very careful in future, is the gist of it. If they were going to add a new element, what would you think it would be? They just added a new element and it was divine, and it's basically a way for them to just make premium currency dragons in a sense. So, I don't know, another currency that is like godly and out there that makes players pay, I suppose. And you can enchant your lantern. I can, but that would waste legendary materials that I would rather use on my Autumn dragon. How long have I been playing? Since January of 2015. So 2 years and 9 months ago, essentially, is when I started. Level 70, get out of here, mate. We are not dealing with you today. I've had to get rid of Dragon Mania Legends because you don't have any storage space left. Is it really that big of a game? I've never really thought about it that much. I didn't think it was that big. But maybe that is my mistake. Zeus is Hades' brother? Well, according to normal Greek mythology, I think it's something like that, but you never know. The DML lore might put a spin on the whole Greek theme or whatever. When does the boss challenge event start? Another person that is a little bit behind on the whole divine event thing. Basically, for the next 3 weeks, you should probably be opening the divine event tab because there is a second boss challenge that has been released. And I did make a whole video on this as well, so there's like no excuses really for not knowing, but it opened like a day ago. So basically, if you only start doing it now, you are not going to be able to finish it, so probably shouldn't even bother with it, to be honest, if you haven't started the fights yet. Is that a snake or a worm? That is actually a dragon hungry snake. Or hungry snack, I should say. Could I play Otto's Lotto? I'd rather not sit here and watch advertisements as much as possible, if I can avoid it. And we lose this fight as far as I can tell. It'd be cool if they could combine elements like fire plus energy equals sparks or something. I think that'd create a lot of weird interactions. Thinking of purchasing the clan, but does it count towards the gem count for upgrading VIP level? As far as I'm aware, yes it does. Yes it does. That is what I've always been told, and it's what I've always seemed to have found, that the clan does actually count towards it, as far as I'm aware. But, you know, some people say it does, some people say it doesn't, so it is really weird. It seems like no one actually knows. I purchase it all the time, but I don't pay attention. Again, I believe it does, but maybe get a more certain source if you want to be really sure about it. At the end of the day, look, the clan is more than worth it, and it's a lot cheaper than it is to buy the regular gems anyway, so whether that goes towards VIP or not, it's still a lot worth it to just put the money in. Do I have the Sunrise Dragon? I don't remember. You've been playing Pokemon games, and there is a new Pokemon game, Ultra Sun and Moon, that will come out in 2017. Yes, they did have the Nintendo Direct about that with the new UB forms and everything like that, so I am well aware of all of that shebang. Don't you think the game should create new events that would provide divine enchantment materials? I mean, I have about 250 of it, and I'm desperate to enchant my Hermes to the fullest. I think the divine event as a whole is a pay-to-win event, so maybe just release all the divine materials as pay-to-win as well. Like, if you're gonna make, like, these 3 divine dragons, some of the strongest in the game, are only, like, pay-to-win, like, premium currency accessible, don't half-ass it, just put everything as pay-to-win. Don't even try and mess with me, like, I don't even care at this point. If you're gonna make so much of it pay-to-win, you might as well just do everything like that. Please tell which is better, Hermes/Hypnos? That is up to you. It depends on your team composition. I would say Hermes is going to work on more teams in general, but, you know, some Void Dragons can work. I would say the Hermes is a bit better. You're stuck on the first boss level. I can't bring my only dragons that can win. Same! I can't do the first boss challenge fight, so I cannot do the event. Simple as that. Again, you're a day late, so you physically cannot finish the event, and you don't have the dragons for it, so there's no point in continuing. Who is the man in my Facebook photo? It is Jack's Films, for anyone that knows who that YouTuber is. Like, the, Your Grammar Sucks guy is probably what a lot of people know him from like, years ago. Solgaleo or Lunala? I would say Solgaleo because there's so much like cute fan art of it out there. Like, Lunala can be cute in some of it, but I think, you know, the whole little kitty sort of lion face is pretty cute. Hermes, cause plant, yeah, that's basically my train of thought there. From where have you so much enchantment materials? You have every single enchantment breeding dragon? No, I do not. I do not have the plushie, so that's actually incorrect. I don't have that many enchantment materials. You may not believe that, but some people have, like, tens of thousands. I almost said 20s of thousands. Like, some people have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of some materials, because they play this game very frequently. I do not. So, I actually do not have a lot in comparison to what I could have. Why did I start YouTube? I used to upload videos of my stupid smelly parrot, actually. And I used to do... I'm not sure how many people used to be on the train, but I used to do, like, starter Pokemon giveaways and stuff like that. Like, I just used to give away all the starter Pokemon that I used to breed, because, you know, if you just breed a ton of starter Pokemon in your game, you can also sort of try and breed for shinies. So I was sort of like 2 birds, 1 stoning with it, and then just gave away all the extra starters that I didn't need. And, you know, for the most part, because a lot of the Pokemon community is also pretty young, like, people loved it. They would just take starter after starter after starter, and that is pretty much what I used to do. Is the Samurai Dragon a good fighter? No, not at all. I would definitely not suggest using it on an actual team. Like, if that is the dragon of your choice, I would definitely suggest against doing so. What's in your profile pic? If you mean the YouTube one, that's Reshiram from Pokemon, one of the legendaries. I started watching your live stream straight away because I was animating, then I got the notification. Well, that's good if it gives you something to sort of distract yourself. Try not to procrastinate too much, of course, though, because I tend to do that sometimes. I lost too much dragon in the 2016 update? What do you mean by that? If you mean you lost your account and had to restart, you could have gotten in contact with Game Loft support. Unless you mean something about the updates being buggy or something like that. I'm not sure what you mean. Did you read your hated people list? I haven't read through that one yet. I have a new hated people's list for paladins, for people that annoy me. But for the most part, I haven't really had to put anyone else on that list. Only like 1 person, so it's not really worth going through it. I don't just want to like single out one person. But when the list gets a little bit bigger, maybe I'll read it out. Best team to beat the Snowball Boss Dragon? Literally just legendaries, really, to be honest. Legendaries, divines, stuff like that. They are the best for dealing with him. I made a complaint about element restrictions on the forum to spread awareness about how it makes it more fair. A lot of people have made that complaint on the forum. To be honest with you, they wanted to make the Divine Dragons premium currency only dragons, is the post that they actually titled on the forums. They specifically said that because we're getting the Aphrodite, the Hypnos, the Hermes, and the Hades for free, they wanted to make the other Divines premium currency only. Which, that may disappoint myself and some of you, which, you know, it's meant to be a free-to-play game, but, you know, they can have premium currency dragons, but when you make it, literally the strongest dragon in the game is only accessible if you pay about $500 worth. I think there is a limit to how much a game company can get away with before it just becomes ridiculous. And are these good level 6 element upgrades for Autumn, Infection, and Heroic Healing? They're fine. Some people would argue that the damage would be better on his legendary skill because the Autumn is damage orientated and he doesn't have a lot of health. So the extra healing is kind of pointless in a lot of situations for him. You'd rather just have the extra damage on his attacks a lot of the time, but, you know, it does depend on your team and how you play, really. My friend has gone to Willy Wonka's factory for the weekend. I'm so jealous. I went to Cadbury's World not long ago in Birmingham, so, you know, it might seem better if you think about it, but at the end of the day, it's like wait in a queue for like an hour to get to a thing that you're not particularly interested in, and then eat some chocolate, and then that's like it. It's same with like festivals and stuff like that. am not a great fan of them, and I feel like a lot of stuff is just consumerism, just people like going in and paying money for something that actually is nowhere near as good as you think it's gonna be, and that's why I hate going outside a lot of the time. Autumn is the most powerful dragon? No, that is not the case. No. FS is frightened speechless. Oh, I don't know why we're arguing about which sort of lowered, or I'm trying to think of the word, but like abbreviation is correct. Realistically, there is no real abbreviation for things in this game. It's just whatever a certain person wants to call it, because there's no like, this is what it is, because that's not how this game operates. I mean, I made a complaint about if you're gonna restrict elements, then your OP dragon has to be the enemy. It should be fair for your team to fight against. And again, that is what I was talking about. They wanted to make it event premium currency only. They wanted to make it as difficult as possible. They wanted people to sort of fail at least some of those divine element battles so that they had to spend more money. It's very simple at the end of the day. They knew exactly what they were doing. Like, some people say, Game Loft, have you not thought about the effect this has on the players? Of course they have. They have a team of, like, so many people that go through this stuff every single day. Look at the stats and everything like that. They know us better than we know us. Of course they know what they're doing. There's no point to say that they don't. Do I watch Rick and Morty? No, I do not. I know people that do watch it quite avidly. I am not someone that is particularly interested. I know this may be late, but did you ever see In a Heartbeat? I'm not sure what that is, I'm afraid, so yeah, I don't know what it is, just outright. I can't even skip the fight. Yep, same here. Again, they made it so that we can't skip the fights. If we don't have the elements, they want us to lose out on those divine tickets. They're giving us every other opportunity to get them in bundles, in like weekend events and stuff like that. But they know that it's not going to be enough. So, again, there is little point to complain in my eyes. But, you know, at the end of the day, they realistically should look at the feedback that people are giving, which they've already admitted that they have, but I feel like because they know all of the stats a lot more than we do, they know how many players log in, they know how much particular people spend, know how much certain people are willing to spend. I don't feel like we personally have the right to tell them what to do, because again, they probably have all the stats in front of them, have a whole team of people saying, okay, these are the numbers, what are we going to do with the next event? So, you know, it's just worth thinking about at least. It's an animation, you should look it up on YouTube sometime. I'll try and remember that. I'll try and remember that. And did you watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic? No. No, I didn't. Never. I feel like DML shouldn't be intentionally making it impossible for people. It's not really fair and will probably drive some people away from playing the game. You may be right, but at the same time, I've said this before, think about it. There's a grand majority of the player base that does not put money on this game, and then there is another portion of the player base that is willing to sack in hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars at times. And if they think, okay, we'll lose X amount of players, but these people are willing to spend this amount of money, it probably makes up for the amount of players that they're going to lose. And eventually, obviously, if you keep losing and losing and losing players, then at that point, obviously, you're not going to have a player base. So there is a point where it has to stop, but I feel like because these Divine Dragons are so strong, a lot of people are willing to, I say a lot, not a lot in comparison to the whole player base, but a lot of the sort of older players are willing to put in the amount of money that they're charging, and they knew that, which is why they've done it the way they did. Am I a good player? Player level 51, level 80 on campaign map. You know, anyone that says, am I a good player, here's what map fight I'm up to, that doesn't mean a whole lot. Because there's a lot of stuff that you don't include when you say that. You don't tell me sort of how long you've been playing, how long you play every day, stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I don't really consider this a skill-based game at all, so no one is really better than another. It's just some people are better at time management, maybe. At the end of the day, I don't really feel like this has any skill in this game at all, so there's no point asking me if you're better or a good player, because it doesn't really mean a whole lot, if you get what I'm saying. Mass Bless or Ultra Bless. If you have a good team and you can Mass Bless your strongest dragon, I've seen some instances where Ultra Bless does work out better. But it's one of those things, it does depend on your team. Ultra Bless will allow one of your dragons to wipe a whole team. So if you had, say, another divine with plant, like the Hermes, he could pretty much destroy an entire team if he had Ultra Bless put on him. But if you don't have a single dragon that is going to wipe a whole team, then Mass Bless can work out a little bit better. DML is an epic game. My data got wiped, but now I connected. Sorry about that. Connected to my data, can't get wiped really. A lot of the problems in this game that people complain about surprisingly are down to people's internet connections, and it makes me cringe every time I see a complaint on the Facebook page. It's like, I can't connect to your servers, what are you doing, Gameloft? And it's actually the person's fault, and it's really sad when that happens. You're playing more Roblox and you think you're going to quit soon. Just play a game for however long it makes you happy or interests you. At the end of the day, don't listen to other people telling you what to play, or don't follow other people, because you're just going to make yourself miserable. And it's just going to be boring at the end of the day. Like, don't play games you don't want to play. Just play games you want to play. Is the Imperial Dragon a good fighter? Nope, he is a rare with 2 elements. There's a reason why epics, legendaries, and divines are classed as stronger. Because I'm not sure how many of you actually know this, but a dragon's base damage and health is based off of the elements that it has unlocked. So, for instance, if the Autumn Dragon only had 2 elements, its base stats would be lower. But because it has 3 elements unlocked and those specific elements have different damage numbers, he has an insanely high attack stat. Whereas a rare, because it only has 2 elements, automatically, or say this uncommon or common here, only has 2 elements, it has a much lower base stat, because 1, its elements are worse, and 2, it only has 2 elements. And again, it has 1 less attack that it can use. So any rares are bad dragons, any uncommons are bad, most epics are bad. The only dragons that are good fighters are legendaries and divines at the end of the day. So I would definitely always suggest just using those type of dragons. Don't ever use epics or anything below in a team. I hope the Meteorite Dragon comes as the Dragon of the Week soon, because I love the design. He's out quite frequently, so he might be back soon. And Bagos Zax, Free Life, hello. Aphrodite has the Divine Fire and Water element. Yep, you can see all of the Divine Dragons' elements on the DML wiki if you want to. I've already been through all of them in past videos, so the Emperor Dragon sucks? Yes. To put it bluntly, he does suck. My team will be Hermes, Lantern, Sumo, and I have all 3 of them. That's good. That's good. Who is better, the Hermes or the Hades? I would personally say the Hermes works better in more teams. I have 1 to 2 rares, all the rest is common, some are uncommon. Start breeding for some epics when you can, is all I have to say. Start breeding some epics, use those for a little bit. I replaced my Emperor with Autumn, so right, it sucks. Again, I don't get the people that sit there and say, well, no, I can choose what dragons I want to use. Yeah, sure, if you want to give yourself a handicap in-game, go ahead, I'm not going to stop you, but it doesn't mean that you're not an idiot. So if you want to intentionally make your experience in DML more difficult than it already is, go ahead and use non-legendary dragons for all I care. I just tried to beat Snowball by using a friend's dragons as a decoy, almost won but couldn't evade the dazzling gleam effect. You know, sometimes the RNG on the light element stuff is so annoying. And sometimes it's fine, like, you won't get affected by it in, like, 50, 60 matches sometimes, or, like, battles, and then the one fight is where it'll proc on, like, all of your dragons, and it is, like, the worst feeling ever. My team sucks then. I have a level 30 Fire, level 30 Candy, and level 30 Fawn. Time to rebuild my team. Desperately need a revamp on that team, my friend. Do not ever level up rares, epics, or anything like that above level 30. It is not worth it. Just get some legendaries, use those instead. I'm trying to get my autumn to be as good as it can with my tree. It currently has 2 elements at level 6, and he's at level 26 with 2 stars. Do dragons have 4 or 5 elements? You can clearly see that they only have up to 3 in-game. Like, that seems like a pretty out there question that didn't need to be asked personally, but no, they do not have more than 3 elements. Like, imagine if they did have 4 or 5 elements. It would be an absolute cluster of mess, and all the elements would be annoying to deal with, and if a dragon had, like, divine, legendary, shadow, light, and, I don't know, plant, imagine that. Can you imagine that? That'd be awful. If they want their game to succeed, they must change some things around, like, pay-to-win players only. Again, it's easy to make judgments on a gaming company when you don't have their statistics and numbers. I agree that pay-to-win games suck, but at the end of the day, you knew that from the day you started playing DML. I don't understand why people only just suddenly realize that this is how this game operates. It's always been like that, and, you know, they seized their opportunity to make the best dragons in the game premium only. Stone Cold or Tombstone, and Hot Coals or Slow Burn? I would say Stone Cold, and either of the fire ones are pretty good actually. Been using max enchanted level 40 ceremony and sea dragons. They've been working perfectly fine, but you see, you say they've been working perfectly fine, but that makes me very upset, because imagine if they were legendaries instead. You might say they're working fine, but the thing is, you are handicapping yourself. Like, having a legendary instead of an epic is 10 times better. Having a divine instead of a legendary is like 2 times better. And having a epic instead of a rare is like, I can't even describe how much of a difference that is. Using dragons below that, legitimately, you are saying, if you were going to play a Pokemon game, that's like saying, I want to use starter Pokemon only in my run through. Is legitimately what you're saying. It is on the same level of sort of handicap. You're saying, I am going to take a Pidgey and a Charmander, and I am not going to level them up for a whole run. But I am still going to do every single fight as if I would have normally. So I'm going to take on a level 40 gym with a level 40 Charmander. I don't see why you would handicap yourself to such an extent. You can if you want to, but the fact that this game is already pay to win enough, and then you're just making it harder, I personally don't get it. Genuinely. His sea dragons are probably good because they can use the wind element to weaken enemies, but then you could have just used the Hermes dragon, or you could have used the love dragon, or you could have used the Hypnos dragon, or anything else that is better, has better base elements, and has no weakness, that also has the wind element. And because it has better base elements, the wind attack that it does use is going to have more damage. So there is legitimately no reason not to use divines or legendaries instead of them. I really do not get why. why you would choose to do that. Dazzling Gleam is a Pokemon move. Indeed it is. Was the Autumn an epic before? No. Definitely not. All legendaries have always been legendary. All divines will always be divine. And, you know, all rares will be rares, stuff like that. No dragon has ever changed its rarity. But, like, I don't like hearing arguments for, like, use rares instead of legendaries. Like, let me just put this into perspective for you. For anyone that's still stuck in the mud, you might not listen anyway, but I really want to reiterate this point here. So, let's look up the Pixie Dragon's base stats, because it does have the wind element. And then, let us look up the Ceremony Dragon, shall we? Let's look this up and take a look-see at the Ceremony Dragon's base stats. So, I'm just gonna, like, they don't even have the same elements, but I'm just gonna compare them regardless. So, if we zoom in here, we have the Ceremony here, and its elements are fire and plant, right? So, it has 200 health base and 64 damage. And so you might think, wow, that's such a good dragon. It works for me. It does its job for now. But then if you just decided to use the Pixie, let's say you're comparing the plant element on it instead. So the Pixie has 246 health base, and it has 75 damage. And you're thinking, well, that's only 11 base damage difference. But then you have to think, that's base damage multiplied by the attack stat increase every single level. And by the end of it, if you've got 2 level 70s, one being the Ceremony, one being the Autumn, you're going to be dealing about 10 million less damage in that case, or like a few million less damage. It is not like a little increase. It is not a tiny increase even. It is millions upon millions of damage difference. I want you to get that. I really need you to understand that, because you are severely handicapping yourself and ruining your DML experience by doing so. I'm just trying to let you know. Why you have Reshiram in your profile photo, I am a Pokemon fan as well, because I drew it like years ago, so I just still have it there. The Ceremony Dragon is still used by people in battle. I don't get why it has such bad elements. Again, it's not that it has bad elements per se, it just isn't a rare, it isn't a legendary, it isn't a divine, so its base stats are just lower. And obviously it only has 2 elements instead of having 3 that it could have. So automatically it's worse, because it has 1 less available element. And then it doesn't have no weaknesses like divines and legendaries do, so it's automatically worse in that regard. Again, base stats, it is worse. There is no reason to use it. If people want good dragons, then they should work for it. It would not make sense to have them automatically, in a way. I don't have any legendary dragons, so my new team will be Geyser, Tigan, and Hypnos. Well, you know, following that logic, you know, make sure you don't upgrade your epics past level 30. Just wait. Save up all the food, save up all the gold that you can, and then upgrade the legendaries as you get them. There's no point in using epics past level 30. Do not make the same mistake that I did with my clay dragon. It is not worth it. Can I speak Russian? Nope. I've seen some people use high-level fire dragons to attack and destroy lower level. I don't understand why none of them have any protection or healing. They're probably just doing it to troll people, because, you know, they have the extra food, they have the extra gold. They could level them up as high as they wanted forever, because they probably have that much extra resources in the bank. But, you know, some people don't care. Some people legitimately don't care, and they just want to wreck people with their fire dragons, in which case, you know, that's up to them. They know most of the time that they are making it harder for themselves. They know that. Is heroic healing better than heroic duel? If you don't have a wind element dragon in your team, doesn't matter. The gist of it is your legendary more attack orientated, or is it more defensive orientated. So something like the Narwhal would probably benefit more from the healing, something like an Autumn or a Lantern would benefit more from the attack damage. So what alternative legendary divine dragons should I use instead of my seed and ceremony dragons using fire and wind elements? Literally any of them. Any of them. It doesn't matter which ones they are, whether you have 2 of the exact same divine dragons or not, they are better than your current team in every way. Again, by millions upon millions of damage numbers. Like, again, it's not a small increase, it is a ton. Like, there is no excuse to still be using them after level 30. My team is Echo, Vortex, and Fawn Dragon. You see, that's good as a starting team, especially if you're relatively low level, but you do need to replace that Fawn and Echo Dragon eventually, because again, it is hindering your team very slightly. Kate Hudson, hello. Is my team good? Holly, Cosmos, Tract, and additional Bloom and Luck. Are you asking me overall? Like, when you ask, is my team good, are you asking that in terms of, is this a viable team? Because if you're asking whether that is a viable team against other players, no. The answer is it is not a good team at all. I need a little bit more context behind that, because again, if you're not using legendaries or divines in your team, minimum for every dragon, it is not a good team. Because again, legendaries and divines do not have a weakness. If you're using dragons that have a weakness, you are automatically ruining your chances of winning against certain players. So that is the reason why legendaries and divines will always be better. Is Mike late? I wouldn't say late, you're just here in the middle of stuff, I suppose. I have a friend on DML and he is level 126 and he has all max fire dragons in his team and he's completed the campaign and the heroic campaign. Again, that's pretty much just the main team if you want to just, you know, don't care, want to just finish the game with a dumb team. But for the most part, a lot of people do struggle with leveling up and progressing, so do not hinder yourself at the end of the day. I'm a level 45 player in my current team. Good, my team consists of Autumn, Hades, and a Gave for extra poison and healing. You know, that's okay team for now. But again, you need to replace that Gave Dragon as soon as you get another legendary or a different legendary with some decent elements, but not too bad for a good start. Again, those are some decent dragons to have a hold of already, like the Autumn and the Hades. The Hades, I personally don't enjoy that much as a dragon, so I wouldn't use it myself in a team, but it depends on what kind of team comp you want to go for. You'd probably have to go for a more defensive team comp if you're going to include him, unless you want 2 attackers and him as the defensive guy, but realistically you might want a water dragon in that team. I understand your point about using Legendary and Divine, but not everyone has the 99 gems to get the 3rd element. That is where you have to save up. Like, the priority list for unlocking elements, or unlocking stuff with gems I should say, is the hatchery, the portal, and then the 3rd highest priority thing to spend them on is unlocking elements on your dragons. And I know that not a lot of people have the gems for it, but if you level up your other dragons above level 30 that aren't rares, epics, that are rares and epics and stuff like that, you're wasting the food that you could spend on your divine and legendaries when you do unlock their elements. That is the important thing. Remember, as soon as you get the food in this game, you do not have to spend it. You can hoard and hoard and hoard and just keep collecting. You don't have to do all the progression at once. It might feel sort of boring doing it like that, but I'm just telling you the most efficient way to progress. If you waste that much food on a team that isn't good enough, you have wasted a lot of time. Because just think, if for any dragon you have above level 30, it costs a lot of food. So imagine putting all of that food into an actual good dragon a little bit later on. There is no excuse at the end of the day for having a team without Legendary and Divine. There is literally no excuse for it, because you can just sit there and keep saving and saving and saving the gems until you eventually unlock that third element. And realistically, you only need to do it for 3 dragons. And you're not telling me that over your entire course of DML you have never ever saved up 300 gems. Everyone had 300 gems at one point or another, but you spent them on something else if you don't have them currently. So again, there's still no excuse for not having them at the end of the day, or not being able to. So, you know, maybe it's something that just needs a lot of hindsight about, but I will continue to say there's no excuse to run a team like that. And I'm level 20 now, and I have Springtime, Mud and Fire. Is it a good starter team? I'm saving up food for a legendary. Doesn't matter what your team is, if it's an epic team at the end of the day. Like, everyone says, is this a good starter team? It doesn't really matter what dragons you're using, because all that's going to matter is, are your dragons a higher level than the enemies? If the answer is yes, you're going to win the fight. It is when you start getting into the tougher fights against other legendaries and other players where teams actually matter. When is my birthday? My birthday is on the 12th of June, so it's another, like, forever away, basically. What's my favourite game other than DML? Currently I play a lot of Paladins, so I would say that that is my choice. Why am I struggling to get the Toxic? I think the Toxic was the last basic epic that I actually bred. So, I don't know, maybe it's just one of those elusive epics that no one really bothers with. You've been saving food for 10 days for the Hades and Hermes. Now I have 1.48 million. You know, to a lot of people that might be a lot. To me, that's not a lot. But, you know, it does depend on your player level and stuff like that. So, and how far you've got in the map, more specifically. Because, like, to me, you can see I have 4.68 million. How much is that actually going to get me when I'm trying to level up this Hermes? Nothing, pretty much. But you see some people that have like 200 million food, I'm like, Jesus, I would love to have a hold of that. I would genuinely love to have that much food, but, you know, not everyone does play this game frequently enough, or just in general has the time to come back that frequently to do it, so... Oh god, I just closed the game. I hate that. There's the red arrow, and it's right next to the tab close button. You just want to get him so you can put him in your collection. Yeah, I know that feeling. I did that forever ago. It's like when you have stuff to breed, there is always something to do in this game. There's always something that you feel like you have to do, whereas for me, like, look, it's just tick after tick after tick after tick. There's like no non-ticks apart from the not availables, limited time dragons and stuff like that. So, it gets kind of really tiresome. I still want this treasure, I still want the Quake, I still want the Blazebird desperately. Fire, Shadow and Light is pretty interesting elements, so I want to get a hold of him. And the Shuriken's kind of cool as well. It's a dragon I always forget about because he was just sort of randomly in the game files, but nice little guy. Overall, I'd say. Almost had enough gems to buy Vortex, but my sister bought a clay dragon, and now I only have 300 gems. You mean she, like, went in the shop and bought them with your gems? That is a very feels bad, man. That is such a waste of money. I hope that that's not what you meant, but I'm pretty sure it is. In which case, you know, ripping peppers to your poor bank account. I have 4 divine tickets. I'm saving for the Zeus dragon. Are you saving for that dragon too? I say I'm saving, but at the end of the day, you know, I've been through this a couple of times. The dragons in these chests, it's about 92 tickets required to fully deplete the chest. 64, I think, is the minimum amount to unlock the divine dragon out of the chest. So I have 4 divine tickets, which means I need to get another 60 from somewhere randomly, and I don't know about you, but there is no way to get another 60, especially considering the fact that I cannot do the current boss challenge starting from the first, the first battle. I cannot do it with my current team. So there is no way that I'm going to be able to get it. It's just one of those things in DML. Consider this, if everyone started using Legendary and Divine Dragons, it wouldn't matter what team you had because they don't have weaknesses. Of course it matters. That is the reason why it matters. Because at that point, it comes down to your team composition. If you, I know you're probably not up to the stage yet, but at the max level in the arena, every single person uses only Legendary and Divine Dragons. Anyone that doesn't use those dragons doesn't sit in the top levels of the league. Those people do not get the Warlord every week and stuff like that. They only use Legendary and Divine Dragons. I don't know how you've viewed the arena, but the arena and the Enchantment League are the main things that people base their team around. And so at that point, because the dragons don't have weaknesses, it comes down to how well you have composed your team. So, do you have a Wind Dragon as your starting legendary so you can weaken their really powerful dragons? Say if you just had say you put together a legendary team of the Firestorm, the Cosmos, and the Crumbly Dragon, and they were your 3 legendaries, you'd get absolutely destroyed in those leagues because you have a terrible team. That is how it works. That is why team compositions only matter if you're actually bothering to compete with other players. And at that point, it becomes extremely important that you really think about your team. And that is what I am preparing you for, because it's a whole different league to anything you've probably ever experienced before. Like, legitimately, if you've ever been on the DML Facebook pages, on the forums, you will see every player that has level 80s only has legendaries and above. There is no excuse. No matter what you say, what you try and argue, there is no excuse for having non-legendaries in your team. No reason at all. And you will find that as you try and take on other players in the enchantment leagues and stuff like that, because you're going to be using commons, uncommons, rares, and you're going to get beaten by dragons that are 10 levels under you. And then you're going to realize how crap your team is. And then you're going to realize that you've pretty much wasted your entire time that you were playing this game by wasting your food on a team that isn't good enough. And I am warning you right now that it is not going to be you're not going to be happy when that happens if you keep wasting your food. I am giving you a pre-warning. I know so many people that have the sumo that have been playing this game for the whole time since it's released along with me. It is not worth it. Not worth it at all. And you have 250,000 gold, make some food for your Hermes. What do you think I'm doing with the food in here? 23 minutes left until it finishes, because I did put in some spring cherries. So we'll take those out, put in some more. Do I have the Echo Dragon? Yes I do. He was really easy to breed during one of the events. Where is he? There we go. Batman is over here. I know that we did rename him during one of our past live streams, which is why he's got this name. But pretty cool looking guy. What's the good team? There are lots of good teams. There are lots of bad teams. I'll give you an example of a team that I've seen a couple of times used in the high leagues. I've seen people using the sumo, just as an example of the current dragons, the sumo, the Hermes, and people are waiting for the Zeus. So they would have the sumo, Hermes, and the Zeus dragons. And so along with that, they are doubling up on the light element, which is really bad in a lot of situations. But you have the Hermes to start off with wind if you want to weaken them. Then you've got the sumo for the insane output, but you also have the Zeus dragon with his insane output potential. So if you just have an upgraded Zeus dragon with the energy element, you're probably going to screw over like everyone. And then when it comes back around to the Hermes this time, he can just poison and infect everything, and then everything dies, essentially. It's a very, very strong team composition that a lot of people are rocking at the moment. Are you going to buy the enchantment promo pack? What do you mean, the guaranteed low quality materials? It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. Like, there is a very small chance of you getting extraordinary and excellent, and for the amount of gems it costs, it's not worth it. Not worth it at all. And Antonio Acevedo, good morning. Is there an explanation as to why some people put all level 20 dragons with no stars in their defenders area? Because they want to demote themselves. Like, currently in the Enchantment League, I am sitting at 900 points. But realistically, if I wanted to guarantee every single fight with my Comet Dragon, I would go back down to 600. So I put my defenders as low dragons. So what do I have here at the moment? Level 30, level 30, level 30. So I know that I am going to get demoted by doing this. And so when I do that, I'm going to get some easier fights. Simple as that. Hi lol, how are you doing? Can I breed the Autumn Dragon by using the Spring and Earth Dragons? Whatever the combos that were suggested in the video, all the ones on the DML wiki, go and look them up if you want to be sure. I didn't breed the Echo, I got him from the calendar event when I was a level 13 player. That's true, he was also available in the calendar event. I did get him on the calendar event on my Android account, but, you know, he was also available to breed at one point. The light element is OP, so people who use legendary dragons that also have the light element Dazzling Gleam is bound to cripple the other team. You say bound to, but remember there's only a chance of the light actually proccing. And in my experience and from what I've seen, it is a good element, that's why people use it, but in a lot of situations, the fact is what people do is if they don't want to use wind, they just pick out a dragon that is going to one-shot the enemy. And one example of that is, for example, the Autumn Dragon. So he has Plant, he has Shadow. And when you go into the arena fights, not many people that aren't experienced in those areas know this, but for anyone that does, there is a Clan Dragon that allows you to get bonus damage on your first attack. So I'm going to open this battle chest and explain to you what I mean by that. Did I stop making DML Reborn? I just got a little bit too busy and I haven't really picked it up. But let's flip this. And so what you can do, if you want to guarantee that you are going to one-shot an opponent, pick out a high damage dragon. And so the Autumn Dragon has both Wind and Shadow, so it gets the second proc of damage off immediately. So you can guarantee that at least one dragon is going to die, because level 4 enchantment, max level Autumn, then you can train it up to give it the bonus damage, bonus health, and then you can go over to your clan area, go to the Striker Dragon, activate its power, so increase the damage of the first attack in battle. So you have a fully enchanted Autumn Dragon that has bonus damage on training, bonus damage on first strike, and it has 2 procs of damage immediately on an enemy dragon. And because you're going into the arena, you do get first attack, so you are guaranteed to make that fight immediately into a 3v2. So it's stuff like that that you have to take into account, because imagine if you'd have taken a more defensive dragon into that, say a Narwhal, you're not going to one-shot all the time. So what a lot of people do is they just take the high damage dragons and just insta-kill their opponents. And that is what pretty much 90% of the arena fight people do. So whether light is a good element or not, it is not an element that is going to one-shot an opponent, unlike, you know, Plant or Shadow. And the Sumo has Shadow. He has, he's like the second or third best dragon in the game. So he can just insta-kill someone. He can insta-kill someone no matter what. So that is something that your ceremony dragons, your tree dragons, your nightshade dragons, your other crap dragons can't do. Because instead of being able to one-shot, it takes them like 4 shots to kill a legendary dragon of an equal level of an equal enchantment. Or it'll take like 2 or 3, depending on their team, but it's something that you learn as you keep playing the game, really. It's not something I just expect people to know, but I'm warning you that that is what happens. So it is not a good idea to take a defensive dragon. It doesn't work to you know, depend on the light element either, because your dragons will already be dead by the time the light proc goes off. Could I draw a dragon as a special? I've been considering it, honestly, but I'll see what happens anyway. My team is Skeleton, Love, and Lantern. Skeleton and Lantern work okay, but the Love isn't good for this. I will level up my Hermes, but I don't know what dragon to get to make this a good team. Skeleton, Love, and Lantern. I would say the Skeleton would be the one holding you back. And again, in that team you don't have any plant, which is why you're replacing it with the Hermes. I would probably say you would be able to completely replace that, either the Skeleton and the Love Dragon, because it depends on what you prefer. Do you prefer the wind on the Love Dragon, or do you prefer having the fire? I would say that in some cases the wind is better, some cases the fire is better, so it is a tough choice really. But you don't really need two lots of light in a team, unless you're just taking the Sumo to increase his damage numbers, in which case you're just taking it so you can use his shadow attack. Can I see the Discord server? I can check it if you want. Why? Is something happening there? Someone said hello. And that's it. Hello all. I'm gonna say hi then. I think the Void Dragon is so ugly. A few of the dragons in the game are a little bit ugly, honestly. But, no, it depends on what you think. Like, some people think this Comet Dragon Baby is really ugly. Some people don't like the Wind-Up Dragon Baby, which obviously I adore. Some people don't like the Pixel. I hate it. Some people love it. It's just all down to personal preference. I completed the dungeon now. Which chest should I open? 1, 2, or 3? I always go with the middle chest. Always. Can I have the Discord? The Discord server is linked in the live stream description, so you can get it straight from there. The Fire Dragon is great in Gold League on Arena, because the fire results destroy everything and you get an instant victory. In Gold League maybe, but anything that is actually a league that you have to compete in, it's not great as a standalone element. The way they drew its face is very smooth and appealing to me. What, the Void Dragon? I mean, again, some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it. Like, I don't really like the Lumino Dragon. I kind of hate it, in fact. I think it's pretty ugly. The Disco Ball looks ridiculous because its body is one sort of design and then its hair is a completely different texture, which really messes with me. Jacob Kepler, hello. The dragons you use in your attack team you can also use in your defend team. Not everyone has two teams, so depends on what you mean by that. Just wanted to know if there is any way that Poseidon, Zeus, and others will be Dragon of the Month after some time. Gameloft have specifically said that after this Divine event is over, they do not plan on re-releasing any of these Divine Dragons. Whether that will happen or not will be left up to them, but they did make a statement on the forums saying that they do not plan on re-releasing them, and think about it. For every dragon you replace as a Dragon of the Month, you are taking away that Dragon of the Month from a new player. So realistically, they want to keep the Dragons of the Month the way they are, so that new players aren't at a disadvantage. I would say the chances of them being released as Dragons of the Month are close to 0, being honest with you. I don't think they're going to do it. Should I level up my level 30 Horn to 40? Because I need to do the Divine battles, but I'm currently saving up for a Divine, so I don't know if I should. The Horn Dragon isn't a Legendary or above. I would just say save up. I know you want to do the Divine battles, but are you realistically going to unlock any of those Divine Dragons out of these chests? Are you willing to invest probably around $300 plus minimum if you save up all your Divine tickets to get these dragons? Are you realistically going to invest $300 flat to unlock those dragons? If you're not, do not bother leveling him up. Tram and Hui Tran, hello. I've seen you frustrated at the Void element in general, but why? It is weak to plant, which is a massive problem considering a lot of teams run it. Void is also more defensive. The Void actual unlocked, the unlocked actual ability skills are pants. Like, the level 6 Void skills are absolutely abysmally bad. Like, they are not good. Not good at all. Like, in comparison to Infection, or Hot Coals, or anything else really, or Ultra Bless, like, it is nothing. It is a terrible element. It doesn't give a lot of base stat to a lot of the time, because normally it's paired up with a bad element. A lot, like, again, that's most of the time. Sometimes it is paired together with a good element, like, say, a Shadow Void, something like that, which does boost the numbers quite a bit, but it's a pretty useless element overall. Again, it is more defensive, therefore it's going to be worse, because it is an element that doesn't one-shot an enemy. You need to get that into your mind, that it is about one-shotting an enemy dragon. If you're going to play the long game, you are going to lose out. You are going to lose out. There is no denying that. In the top leagues, it is about one-shotting an enemy dragon, so it immediately becomes a 3v2. And if you get a 3v2 situation, obviously you've got the upper hand, so there is no reason not to do it. And Denny Zato, hello? I think people can get 92 Divine tickets for 3 weeks and get Zeus. Let's think about it this way. How many do you get per these boss challenge events? You get 3. So we've had 2 so far, so that's 6. And then in the calendar, how many do we get? So we've got 6 so far. Then we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's including the entire calendar event that isn't done, by the way. So that's 15. And then in the weekend events, we can get 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's 20 Divine tickets so far. And then I think there was another event that gave another 2. So we'll boost it up to about 22 tickets. So realistically, if they keep giving and giving us weekend events and stuff like that, we'll be getting closer and closer, but you have to remember that that is including the entire calendar event that is for. So realistically, they may give us the opportunity to collect like 60 tickets, but that's still not enough to even guarantee one chest that we will have a chance to get one of the Divine Dragons, because again, 64 is the absolute minimum you have to open if your luck is perfect and you unlock all of the Poseidon pieces or the Zeus pieces in those chests. If you don't, then you're going to have to open more than 64 chests. So realistically, we're not going to be getting given enough to even unlock one chest worth of dragons, even minimum amount required. So no, I do not agree with you. Can I get the Autumn Dragon? It's so hard. Keep reading. What program are you using to play DML on the computer? You download it from the Windows Store. Like, just open the Windows Store, type in DML, download it. There's no program, really, that I use. I don't like the Skeleton Dragon by design because it's basically a recolored version of the Shard Dragon. You say that, but that's pretty much what a lot of the dragons are at the end of the day. Some of them are a little bit different, like I can see the Crumbly, how his design does differ a little bit. But a few of the dragons are just, they feel like a little bit of a recolor, and that's just how this game is. But realistically, we can only really do one more mini fight, and that is pretty much going to end us for today because, you know, as per usual, we've just run out of things to do in DML. Nothing I can do about that, it's just the way of the game. I will change my team into Hypnos, Vortex, and Fawn Dragon. Please replace the Fawn. You're making me sad by keeping it there. Unless you're just keeping it there for nostalgia purposes, but it's still a bad dragon. Like, it's a really bad dragon, in fact. Please, if you want a good team, please replace it at some point. Don't make me sad and know that you're handicapping yourself in such a way. The Hypnos Dragon's design doesn't look very good, especially its wings look pretty lazily done. You say that, but the Hypnos I feel like is one of the better or more liked dragons from this Divine event. A lot of people really, really like his design, in fact. Because it's the simplicity of some dragons that some people like. What is the best legendary in DML? The Sumo, without contestation. Can I add you to my friends list in DML? Nope, my friends list is full. What dragon are you using to fight? It's so small and it kills all enemies in one shot. I use the Lantern Dragon myself. The Medusa bundle, buy the Medusa Dragon bundle, no. No, and you know the reason why I will not be purchasing this bundle. It's £38. You get 12 of the Divine tickets. It's $50 essentially, but this Medusa Dragon, the problem with it is that I wanted to get a hold of it. It's a cool looking dragon, but it has the exact same elements as the Autumn Dragon. It is the exact same dragon as the Autumn Dragon, so same base stats and everything because it's got the same elements. So why would I spend £38 for another Autumn Dragon, essentially? It's not worth it. If you have an Autumn Dragon, there is absolutely no reason to purchase the Medusa Dragon. I'm just going to put that out there. I was planning on doing a video about the bundle anyway, where I can explain it a little bit more, but it's not worth it. It is definitely not worth it. Unless you are looking to unlock all of the Divine Dragons out the Divine chest, then it is a little bit more worth it, admittedly. But as an outright purchase for the Medusa, I am not interested. Not interested in the slightest. Will it be available as a Dragon of the Month? Again, all of these currently released dragons, they have said they do not plan on re-releasing them. The chances of them becoming a Dragon of the Month are close to never going to happen. I don't think it is. What is my favourite dragon? Probably, is that in general? My favourite overall is the Imperial, but for some of the other specific elements, there's like the Torch, which is a pretty nice legendary. Sebastian, one hell of a butler, hello. Well, that is definitely from Black Butler, isn't it? How do you get Ateon? I'm not sure what that is. Even and Eric, how do we Jaya? Hello. But, you know, overall, I am not even going to put a poll in for whether I should purchase this Medusa Dragon, because it's good, but at the same time, it's not worth buying another Autumn Dragon that is just a reskin, essentially. Not worth it. The other thing I don't like about DML is that you can't collect them all without in-app purchases. You can't collect every dragon in the game regardless, because some of these dragons are country specific. So some countries simply aren't going to be able to get other dragons because they're not their country specific dragons. So it is physically impossible to have all 418. Is all I'm going to say. Literally impossible to have every dragon in this game. So regardless of whether they're pay to win or not, you can't do it. I want to buy it. I got the money, but I don't know if I should do it because I want all of the dragons. It's not really worth it if you want it for an attack team. If you really want all of the dragons, again, you're going towards an impossible feat anyway. So I would suggest not doing that if your ultimate goal is to own every dragon, because you can't. So, hello Leknaj, how are you doing? It's expensive and never available again, maybe? Perhaps. It depends on how much you value collecting that dragon. My clan is full and has been for months. And do you think that the Medusa will be the next Dragon of the Month? No! No, it will never be a Dragon of the Month, as far as I'm aware. And when did I start playing DML? January 2015. So I've been playing for 2 years and 9 months. Can I show you my setup? My setup is a desk with a wonky thing that my keyboard sits on. It is like the most pathetic setup ever. It's genuinely not even worth showing. You can if you travel around the world and waste money on a game. I currently get 3 Divine Dragons, the Hermes, Hades, and Hypnos in this team. Good, maybe Aphrodite. It's not a bad team at the end of the day, but there is definitely other team comps that may be better at the end of the day, but it's probably going to work better for you than using 3 legendaries. Why is your name so hard to say and spell? Quackalakes? I mean, I don't find it difficult because I'm used to it. Maybe you just have to be here more often. How do you breed for the autumn? My mum does not know how. If you look in the live stream description, I have a link on how to breed the autumn dragon, fully explained, fully gone through with multiple different combos. So it is just the link in the live stream description. It will take you straight to the video, so just watch that and it will explain it better than I can currently. Why don't I draw a new dragon? Because I don't really have any interest. I don't care about this game enough to do that. And I just put 2 fire habitats to be upgraded, and all of a sudden I got 2 divine tickets. It's probably from the gold event, if anything. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I'm probably going to end it there because we are just sitting here and, you know, it does get boring every so often when I've got no fights to do, no stuff to actually be doing in the game, which sucks. And Clownfish plus plant is good, yeah, it is. But like I said, I'm going to end it there for now. I will probably work on some more stuff, and again, I don't know what I'm going to be doing for episode 600, so we'll have to wait and see if I'm even going to do anything special for that or not. I'll try and think of something in the meantime, but, you know, there's not really a whole lot to do in DML at the moment. These divine events are getting a little bit stale at times, but regardless of that, you know, thank you everyone for being here. Are the Dragon of the Month the same every month of every year like a pattern? Yes. Like, the Autumn Dragon was the Dragon of the Month last year and the year before for September. And just like the Skeleton Dragon will be the Dragon of the Month for the Halloween month every year, pretty much. It never sways from that, so that every player can get a hold of them. Do you think it's possible to get 90 Divine Chest tickets without gems? No. No. I think a Divine Dragon event is the hardest from all. It's not the hardest, it is the most expensive. To put it bluntly. Why do you think your Divine team will be? Undecided as of yet. Undecided, like it says in the description. But yeah, guys, instead of me just pandering and not doing a whole lot, like I said, thanks a ton for being here for today. I will try and be live streaming every day for the next few days if I can, but any changes I'll probably let you know somewhere. But for now, thanks a ton for being here, and you know, I'll probably end up seeing most of you soon. So, thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of